Good evening, everybody. It is a special Zoom in on a fresh conversation. Today we have Donna Briana here with us. She is going to read from her book Behind the Curtains, and it is a book on erotica. We are celebrating the International Great Black Read Aloud Day, which is February the 26th. We have been doing this every day for the month of February for Black History. For those of you who have joined us, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to read out loud. Today is erotica. Tomorrow is February 27th. It's detective and mystery. So if you have a book that you love, please read it out loud to us so that we can enjoy it. But today, we are going to enjoy Behind the Curtains with Briana is her author's name, and she is from Indonesia. Briana, thank you very much. Good morning, good evening to you, right? Good evening.
Thank you, Donna, and good evening, everyone, and good morning to everyone. So, as Donna introduced me, right now I am in Indonesia. So, my side it's night 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. at night here. But then I think I should be wishing good morning and good afternoon, good evening to
To
everyone.
everybody.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am Tanya Briana, and my pen name is Briana. So I write with the name Briana. And I've written two of my novels, and I'm really proud, Donna. I'm really happy today to be a part of the International Black Read Aloud Day and to
Thank
be a
you.
part of this great Black history. And I'm really happy to be a part of today, the 26th of February, which is the Erotica Day. So today I'll be talking about my second published book, Behind the Curtains, and it is Erotica. So we are going to
Yeah.
talk about it. All right. So first, I'll just show you. This is the cover. I don't know if you can see it properly.
You can see it.
And show it
Hmm.
to you. Okay, I'm trying my best to. Okay, forgive me, probably because.
That's all right. Put it towards you, closer to you, your hair.
Oh yeah, can you see it? Or it's the light.
Mm.
Probably it's the light
Yeah,
reflecting.
the light is reflecting. I
Oh
think I
yeah,
did. Oh, there you go. I did put
yeah.
it on the computer, I think yesterday, day before yesterday.
Okay, thank you, Donna. So this is the cover of my book, and it's available on Amazon.com. So you can purchase my book from there. Now, this is erotica, and now what people often ask me that you are the author of because your first publish was something quite different from erotica. It was a romantic fiction, and it uh, dealt with completely different themes. So what inspired you to write erotica? So as an author, I always loved writing about things which people don't like talking about openly in society. Like we all know that erotica is very much a part of our life. The only difference is we as people tend to talk about it in hushed tones behind the walls of a home, or behind your room, only with your best friend, only with your close people. We don't really talk about it. But the thing is, it does exist in our day-to-day life. uh, that inspired me to write my second book, Behind the Curtains. Um, there are three important characters in the book: a male protagonist and two female protagonists. So it's a love story between three people. Yes, you heard me correct. It's a love story between three people. They come from different parts of the world and they meet in the beautiful island of Indonesia. Now, staying in Indonesia for a long time is what inspired me to write a story based on this beautiful island, on this beautiful archipelago, as it is known as. So today, I would like to start 26 February, Erotica Day, and I would like to celebrate the International Black Read Aloud Day by giving a brief introduction to my second published book, Behind the Curtains, and then I would be reading chapter 16 of my book. So, this is the introduction. Life seemed to take a sudden turn in the life of Mark, a young, handsome Korean, but American raised up. He never imagined that he would fall in love with Angel, a young Australian woman. They meet while on her tour to Jakarta, Indonesia. Angel was single, rich, and successful. She had strong characteristics of an independent woman, and she liked living her life her own way. Her meetings with Mark was arranged by her best friend and roommate Kate, a gorgeous blonde. The love between Mark and Angel is hot, steamy, and everything someone could dream of. They simply can't stay away from one another. Mark could only be afforded by the rich. After all, he was one of the most popular gigolo known, and he charged in millions. He escorted celebrities and tycoons in their bed and steamed up their lonely nights. Things change when Angel and Mark fall in love with each other, but his profession has certain protocols which he must be careful about. He wants to start a fresh new profession and marry Angel, but she suffers from commitment phobia due to a bad childhood memory. She shies away from marriage, and to quit his profession, he needs a legal document signed by a woman declaring her plans of marrying him. Her best friend, Kate, lands up in Gili Air Island, Indonesia, where Mark and Angel were holidaying. A stormy night leads to a sudden turn in his life when, due to power failure and in the drunken state, Kate and Mark end up in bed together, and Mark can't deny his attraction for her. Further, the same night, Angel goes on a boat trip accompanied by locals to Mount Agung because the volcanic mountain had just erupted, and as per her job profile, she was in Indonesia for her project on volcanoes and tsunami. Mark loves her and can't leave her alone, so he decides to follow her, taking the help of a local boatman, but he also takes Kate along with him because she's down with high fever and can't be left alone on the island. The huge, gigantic waves of the sea make it impossible for them to travel, and they decide to put up for the night in Sengigi and continue the next morning. Inside the closed doors of the room, Mark and Kate ended up having the most sinful, sexually arousing encounter in bed they could never imagine. As luck would have it, they are put up in the island for a week due to tsunami alert. All their nights were spent together in bed. Mark finally unites with Angel after the weather clears up, but he also confesses his intimacy with Kate. The turning point in the novel is when, one night, the three of them end up making love. John, Angel's companion in the project, is away at the sea for the night. What follows is forbidden pleasure they never experienced before. The book ends in a happy note when the three of them are happy for something each one of them gained. Angel gained Mark's unconditional love for her, and yet keep away from marriage, and not to forget the steamy nights between them. Mark got a reason to quit his profession as Kate decides to sign the agreement and marry him. Kate got the man of her dreams as a husband whom she had always loved, and they maintain a happy threesome relation. So that's the introduction of my book. Now, I would like to read chapter 16 of my book, Behind the Curtains. The entire dining room smelled of bacon, scrambled eggs, and coffee. Everyone sat together to eat. After food, coffee was served. Mark decided that he would speak now. It's now or never. He sat beside Kate, kissed her hand, and looked into her eyes. Babe, I have been a fool not to realize your love for me. I never imagined that a girl as good as you would ever decide to marry me. In fact, any other woman would never agree to marry me. He then kneeled on the floor beside her. I promise to be a good husband to you. Will you marry me? He took out the blue box from his pocket, displaying the diamond ring. This was meant for you, actually. He then slid it into her ring finger. Mark, you never even asked me about my feelings. Do you know how much I suffered? He kissed her cheeks and said, Today ends your sorrow and starts your happiness. We are marrying next week. I've arranged everything. Maxim hugged them both. Bernard hugged Kate's mom. Our daughter is getting married to the man she loves. What more could we as parents desire than to see her smile? Kate finally found the man of her dreams. Though she knew that Angel would always be an important part of their lives, yet she was happy to have him as her husband. The bracelet in her wrist, given by Mrs. Wilson, shone brightly. The entire family decided to go out shopping in his limo waiting outside. Mark could hear her father gasp when entering the limo. We are going to buy her wedding dress from Paris, Maxim shouted when getting in. Oh, and Aunt would be calling you, Mr. Bernard, in the evening, she shouted again. Mark would be flying back tomorrow morning, so the family decided to have dinner at a restaurant after shopping. All details of the wedding was discussed while waiting for dinner to be served. Mrs. Wilson had called her parents and expressed her happiness about their marriage. Kate and her parents would have to start arranging for the wedding, and guests would have to be invited, and so on. Mark would fly back next Sunday with Maxim, his best friends, and his aunt for the big day. He called Angel and informed her everything, and she shouted in happiness from the other end. He wore a black tuxedo. Very soon she will be all his. She would be walked down the aisle by her father, and she would be dressed in the prettiest dress she had chosen. Go on, buy it, I'll pay for it. My wife should wear the most expensive gown in the world. But as she had felt little uneasy, Mark told her, Isn't everything that is mine yours too? And trust me, I do earn well. He blinked at her mischievously. There was a rap on the door. Must be his best friend. His driver came in with an envelope in his hand. What's this? He asked his driver. Before the driver could answer, Mark had already opened the envelope, and the contents were right before him. There were photographs, many of them, photographs of the three of them near the swimming pool that night, all three of them together, making love. He wondered what would happen if his aunt or her parents saw this. What they knew was that he had made love to Angel and to Kate when Angel was on a tour. No one really knew that they had sex together, all three of them. This was only between the three. Who else could have known this? It was midnight, and no one was around. He remembered flicker of flashes of someone's camera. But who was so much interested in their lives? I will talk about this later to Kate and Angel. This is not the time, he thought. There was another rap on the door. This time it was indeed his best friend, to walk with him to the altar where Kate was waiting for him. He would try to sort this out since he was in New York. If necessary, he should give the case to a private detective to find out who it was. No matter how hard it was, he couldn't find any clue who it could be and what could be the intention behind it. What did that person think he would gain by blackmailing him? If only he could get his hands on that bastard, he thought. Kate had never looked as pretty as she did today. All those years of pain, of insecurity melted away when he looked into her eyes, and he knew everything was going to be fine now. Looking out through his office window, Mark reflected on his past. His company was now 3 times bigger, with the most sought after international clients. His first love, Angel, now in Japan for almost 6 months. His loving wife, Kate, who would soon be joining him for lunch in office now. She now had her own designer house under the brand Wilson and Wilson's. He was glad that he had taken the correct decision in the right time. The three of them still meet together whenever possible, and they are planning a very recent holiday. In fact, they spent a holiday in Mauritius a few days back. Nothing had changed the relation between the three, despite Kate and Mark being married. Angel was living together in Japan with a man whose whereabouts he didn't know much. The both together were doing a project on Mount Fujiyama. He's diverted from his thoughts when Kate enters his office. They order rice and kimchi, a Korean delicacy. I'll finish in an hour, and we leave for the day, she whispered fondly, and coming up to him, kissing his lips. As she walked out of his room, she turned around. And oh, I forgot to tell you, someone from Bali called me asking if I had seen some photographs that he had sent you. And actually, chapter 16 is the concluding chapter of my book. So that's the end of chapter 16. So now you might have got, you might have understood a bit. So this is a relation between three people. So it didn't happen by, it was not pre-planned, but it happened by chance. So it happened so that on a stormy night, the three of them, for somehow Mark comes closer to Kate because he couldn't go to meet Angel, and they stay together and they become close to each other. And later Angel comes to know about it, and they still maintain the relation, the three of them together. And Mark marries Kate because Angel has commitment phobia and she can't marry him because she has some bad childhood memories. But the three of them still maintain the relationship in the same way. So that's behind the curtain, and there might be many questions as to why a threesome relation, because I tried to establish this because I felt that love has no boundaries. The thing is, certain things do happen in society, but we don't tend to talk about it. And as I said, few things we often talk within the walls of our room. And I just wanted to bring it out to the audience. I feel that today, in Erotica Day, being an author of Behind the Curtains, I should bring out and I should promote erotica to the entire society. Thanks, Donna, and thanks, everyone. So that was all about my book and the chapter 16 of my book. Thank you. Donna, you've muted yourself, I think.
You left us hanging. So when is the second book? I mean, come on, it's got to be. Where are the pictures? And then when's the second book? Behind the Curtains too.
Okay. Oh, there's a second book. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it in my mind though, because if you noted the concluding chapter, it ends with a mystery.
Right.
Because someone is out there who knows, so it's not a secret anymore. No matter how they think that it's between the three of them, there might be someone out there who have taken their photographs and sent Mark those pictures. So yes, that's a plan in my mind actually of writing a second book. But then something else came to my mind, and I've written a third one, which is not yet published, of course, and that's on a different topic altogether. It's a psychological thriller. But yeah, someday probably, if I come to think of what happens to Mark, Kate, and Angel later, like after he discovers who had sent those photographs and
Absolutely.
who is the fourth person who knows about
Yeah, exactly. In this relationship, who actually sat outside and took pictures of it. Yeah.
it. True.
Yeah,
But
that
then
was.
might be a hint, like if you read my book. So if readers read my book, uh, I wouldn't want to reveal it now because that would
Oh, right.
spoil
Exactly.
fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there might be a hint to it that who that fourth person might be who knows about it. So, yeah, so I think if you read it like line to line, you get a slight hint of
Who
he
it
or
might
she
be.
might be that
Hmm.
fourth person who knew about it.
But
And
and just to make a point of view is that a lot of series do very, very well. So, you have um Susan Cornwell, who has written 12 books about one person, right?
yes,
And she's
right.
a
That's right.
detective. And so, you could keep this thing going if you wanted.
Yeah, I think so. I'll keep this going because anyhow, that's what in my mind because I have have to anyway. I have to take it forward. I can't leave it a mystery for many days to my
Yeah.
readers because there might be a lot of questions that what happens next, and there's always this curiosity to read that what happens and who is that person actually who knew about it, because whatever happened between them was absolutely personal and it was absolutely behind, as I call it, behind the curtains of
Hmm.
the, so no one is supposed to know about it. Um, so how come someone knows about it already?
Right. I
So
think it would be great to have a book too, but I know you got a lot on your plate, so we all do. And when we're writers, you have to find the time to write.
absolutely,
That's the
absolutely.
biggest part. But
I think
anyway,
that's
thank you
really
so much for being here today, this
thank
evening,
you.
on the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. I certainly appreciate you taking the time. Please tell your family thank you for letting you spend this time with us at this time of night over there in your side of the world. And
It's my
we will
pleasure.
see you Monday at 8
Thank you.
o'clock p.m. on Zoom
Yes,
In on a Fresh Conversation.
and
So,
I'm definitely excited about it.
oh, great.
Uh,
Yay.
See everyone, and once again, congratulations on your read aloud because it's so successful, Donna. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere, the International Black Read Aloud Day.
It is
Uh,
wonderful. Yeah.
and the way it is, all organized that each day, a date of the month is dedicated to a certain topic.
Thank
It's
you.
really wonderful, Donna. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone, and for giving me the opportunity to read my book and introduce my book to all of you.
Behind the curtains. Thank you so much. Good
Behind the
night.
curtain.